answer was to be approached. So in the course of discussion also I'll be discussing the pre-IQs which has been asked. Clear? In those pre-IQs we'll discuss the approach of writing the answer. Clear? Last year only there was a question. Clear? That discuss the changes in continuity between Rig Vedic and later Vedic culture. We'll discuss about the changes and continuity of Rig Vedic and later Vedic culture. You will get to know how exactly the answer has to be written and approached. Clear? Anything else? See, again I'll let you know, as far as sources to read history is concerned. Clear? First of all, I'll let you know, as I told you in the beginning itself, don't run after materials. Clear? First of all, rely on the class notes. Clear? Why I'm asking you to rely on the class notes? Clear? Once you start attending the classes, in class also you'll take the notes, I'll dictate the notes. You will go back and revise the class notes back at your place. Clear? Don't run after content only. That content given the class would be sufficient enough. Clear? First for to approach prelims and mains both. Clear? Sources at max, what you can do is go through NCERTs. Clear? NCERTs are the most fundamental textbooks for UPSC preparation. So at max you can supplement with NCERTs just for conceptual clarity. But that would be done in the class also. Clear? So if you wish to, go through NCERTs. If not, rely on the classes. Clear? But don't run after extra materials. Clear? Because that will lead to rather confusion also. That will lead to duplication of effort also. Purpose is to save time. Purpose is to have more rich content within limited time. Clear? So rely more on the class notes. I would advise you. Clear? Don't go after materials in the market. Clear? Because that will lead to confusion alone, nothing more than that. Clear? Since you are here, you need to trust the team. The team is there to give you the best material, best class notes. Trust the team. Clear? It will be done in the class itself. I can suggest you n number of books, 10 or 20 books, but that will not serve the purpose. That will give confusion only. Rely on the team, rely on the class notes. NCERT books depends on module. Clear? Normally in history we recommend NCERTs from 6 onwards. Clear? But if you refer to 11, 12 NCERT also along with classes, it would suffice. Clear? So I do with classes only 11th and 12th one. 11th and 12th NCERT, that would suffice. Clear? Otherwise, I'll take care of the entire module. Don't worry about it. Clear? Any other query? Any other question that needs to be asked? Any other thing? Okay, now as we proceed, clear? I'll request you one thing. Clear? In my class or here, the whole team is ready to help you in all possible ways. If you have any question in your mind, don't hesitate. I'm here to answer all your queries. Clear? So don't feel shy, don't hesitate in asking questions, because question asked by you may be helpful for the entire class also. Clear? So don't hesitate, don't feel shy. I'm here. Clear? And I feel at this stage of your life, no question is illogical. I'm here to answer all the logical questions. Clear? So anything that you feel to be asked to be clarified while I'm teaching, just feel free to ask questions. There's nothing to be worried about. Clear? I'm here. I'll answer all your queries. Don't worry about it. Is it fine? Done? Basic pattern is clear. Shall we start now? Okay. So today we'll start with ancient Indian history. History has to be started from the very beginning. We need to start from ancient India only. Clear? So we'll start with ancient Indian history today to understand history from the very beginning. Then we'll proceed accordingly to medieval history, then art and culture. Very important for prelims and mains. Clear? Now let us understand first. Clear? As far as history as a discipline is concerned, clear? History is a scientific discipline. Clear? And everything that we are going to talk about, everything that we are going to discuss about, everything is based on evidences. Clear? Where nothing can be taught, nothing can be discussed without evidences. Clear? So history is purely a science based on concrete evidences and sources. Clear? If it is bereft of sources, it is a mere fiction. Clear? And fiction is never a part of history. Clear? So whatever we are going to speak, every single sentence also, clear? All these are based on concrete evidences which has been found, which has been excavated, which has been used by historians and scholars from the very beginning till present times. Clear? Recently also you must have read excavations going on places like Rakhigari and other places. We are finding some new developments every day. Clear? So obviously history is evolving in nature. It is totally based on evidences and sources. Clear? So in ancient India, the first and foremost thing to be done is we need to know about sources. We need to know about evidences. Clear? In course of time, we'll be saying everything based on these sources. Clear? So you need to have a fair idea about the sources of ancient Indian history. Then we'll come to sources of medieval Indian history. Then we'll come to sources even of art and culture as well. Clear? So not even a single thing to be discussed in history without sources. Clear? So first and foremost things to discuss about sources of ancient Indian history. Clear? We'll understand about the sources, how the bigger things began to develop. Just understand from the beginning. Clear? British authority began to rule over India from the middle of 18th century. Clear? When British authority started to rule over India in modern times, clear, they also wanted to know about India's past. Clear? They wanted to know about the weaknesses of Indian culture. Clear? In order to dominate over the cultural development of India and to justify their colonial role. Clear? With such objective in mind, some British archaeologists took initiative and established an institution in India known as the Archaeological Survey of India, or ASI. Clear? The Archaeological Survey of India was established in the year 1861 by a British expert and archaeologist, Sir Alexander Cunningham. Clear? With establishment of Archaeological Survey of India, archaeological exploration and excavation began to take place in India. Clear? Understand from the beginning. Clear? Archaeological excavation is a costly affair. It includes huge amount of investment. Clear? British could not invest largely in excavating the remains in India. Clear? And that is why Archaeological Survey of India could not perform its role. Clear? It was revived on the demand of national leaders in 1902, and it was revived in 1902 by another expert, Sir John Marshall. Clear? And from 1902, excavation started in the real sense, and through excavation we began to find archaeological materials and remains. Clear? These archaeological remains are the major source to reconstruct the history of ancient India. Archaeological resources began to be supplemented with literary sources also. The first literary source being known as the Rigveda, which were compiled by Aryans who came to India around 1500 BC. Clear? So sources of ancient Indian history can be broadly divided into two sections. One is archaeological sources, another is literary sources. Clear? Archaeological sources started by the British in India, and we began to find several archaeological objects. Clear? These objects include artifacts, these objects include inscriptions, these objects include coins, also known as numismatics. All have been used to corroborate historical understanding of the past. Clear? And even we have been able to fix chronology also, and this chronology of human skeletons found through excavation has been fixed through a scientific technique known as carbon dating method. Clear? We'll come to the scientific technique known as carbon dating method. Clear? So first of all, archaeological sources to understand ancient India, then we'll come to literary sources, we'll come to inner classification also. Archaeological sources divided into artifacts, inscriptions and coins. Clear? Literary sources divided into indigenous sources, the accounts of foreign travelers like Fahian and Yuan-Sang. Within indigenous sources, we'll divide the sources into religious literature, secular literature. Within religious literature, we'll discuss literature related to Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism and so on. Clear? So we'll come to first of all these sources. If you understand the sources comprehensively, understanding of ancient India would become relatively easier. Clear? So first of all, we'll start with sources of ancient Indian history. Approach is clear first of all. Clear? Now write the heading as. Clear? Write ancient India and then write the sources. Clear? First of all is the sources. Ancient India, and then the sources. Then the sources. Clear? Right, introduction first. See, if you want me to be slow, just let me know. I'll try to synchronize with your writing speed. Don't worry. Clear? If you have any issue, just let me know. Clear? Right, introduction first of all. Clear? Right, history is a scientific discipline. History is a scientific discipline based on definite resource, and evidences Clear? Right, all historical interpretation is based on sources which are broadly classified into archaeological sources, and literary sources. Clear? Right. The science of archaeology started under British rule. The science of archaeology started under British rule with establishment of the Archaeological Survey of India, ASI, in 1861. By a British officer, Sir Alexander Cunningham. Clear? Right. Since archaeology requires sufficient funding, this institution could not function under British rule. Clear? Right. Therefore, under the pressure of national leaders, ASI was revived. Archaeological Survey of India, ASI was revived in 1902. By Sir John Marshall. 1902 by, revived in 1902 by Sir John Marshall. Marshall. Sir John Marshall. Clear? Sir John Marshall. Now just understand from here. Conceptually, you need to understand things. Clear? When science of archaeology began to start. Clear? This science of archaeology is marked by digging the surface of the earth to find archaeological remains. Clear? The digging of the surface of the earth is done in two formats. Clear? One is known as vertical digging, another is known as horizontal digging. Clear? When it is vertical digging, we get limited source of information. Clear? But when it's horizontal digging, we get complete picture of the entire site. Clear? But horizontal digging is much more expensive than the vertical digging. Clear? And British started the concept of largely vertical digging in India, and we began to have some information about the India's past. Clear? This digging was started basically when British were constructing railway tracks in the northwestern part of India, and they found a large mound. Clear? In order to downplay the importance of the mound, British declared the mound to be Mound of the Dead. Clear? But later on, when excavation was done in the mound, it was found to be a large city in ancient India, to be known as the city of Mohenjo-daro. Clear? Mohenjo-daro literally means Mound of the Dead, which is located presently in the province of Sindh in Pakistan. Clear? And thereafter, Indian archaeologists also came forward. They wanted to excavate more and more in these areas, and ultimately we unfolded a large civilization in this region. This civilization known as Indus Valley Civilization. The first site to be discovered was Harappa in the year 1921. Clear? This marked the process of excavation in India, both vertical and to some extent horizontal digging as well. Clear? When this digging began to be done, three major things began to be found on unearthed. Clear? One was large number of artifacts. Clear? Artifacts are those materials which has been produced through human hand, not through machines. Clear? And artifacts included potteries, artifacts included toys which were used by the people in ancient time. Clear? Second major thing that was found by large number of inscriptions. Clear? Inscriptions inscribed by the rulers, which is known as epigraphy. Clear? And the third thing that we began to find for historical construction was large number of coins. Clear? The study of coins being known as numismatics. Clear? So when science of archaeology began to evolve, three major sources began to be used to understand past. One were artifacts, another are inscriptions, and third are coins or numismatics. Clear? When all these three things began to find, another challenge was how to fix this artifacts and materials with respective rulers of ancient time, and we began to fix this thing through a scientific technique known as carbon dating method, when we began to unearth skeletons. Clear? What exactly do we mean by carbon dating method? Clear? Understand the scientific technique. Clear? Every human being or every creature, when they survive and exist, clear, they consume atmospheric carbon at a consistent pace. Clear? So till the creature or human beings they survive, they keep on consuming the carbon from atmosphere at a constant pace. Clear? When the person or creature dies, clear, the accumulated carbon in his body starts to decompose. Clear? The rate of decomposition is also constant in nature. Clear? And therefore, because of this constant rate of decomposition of carbon, clear, we have been able to calculate half-life of the accumulated carbon, and half-life has been calculated as 5,568 years. That means that half of the accumulated carbon will decompose in 5,568 years, which is known as the half-life. Clear? Remaining half of the carbon will decompose in further 5,568 years. While multiplying this 5,568 years, we can calculate the age of human skeletons even in Stone Age or Ice Age. Clear? And with this, sequencing of human evolution could be done, fixation of era could be done, and this was done with a scientific technique known as carbon dating method. As of now, we are not applying carbon dating method. We are applying even DNA sequencing also, which has been started at Rakhigarhi. Clear? But the most dominant technique to fix the chronology has been carbon dating method, which has been applied since archaeological excavations began to take place. With this fixation, we began to correlate the artifacts, we began to correlate the inscriptions, we began to correlate the numismatics or coins as well. Clear? All this started scientifically, the most important being carbon dating method. Clear? Is this clear? First of all, the process started right about this excavation. Clear? Right, with beginning of the science of excavation, with beginning of the science of excavation, beginning of the science of excavation. Clear? Excavation. The experts began to adopt vertical digging. The experts began to adopt the vertical digging as well as horizontal digging. Vertical digging as well as horizontal digging. Clear? Right. Since vertical digging is cost effective, it has been largely applied in Indian subcontinent, Clear? Right. Through excavations, several materials like artifacts, inscriptions, and coins were found as sources of ancient history, Clear? Right. These materials were linked with human beings, through fixing the date or chronology, Clear? Or chronology. Right. With such objective, the archaeologist began to apply the carbon dating method. Right, what this method is important. Clear? Right, according to this method, every living creature consume carbon at a fixed rate, constant rate, at a fixed rate. Clear? Right. After the death of human beings or creature, after the death of creature, the accumulated carbon start to decompose at a constant pace, PAC, clear? Right. The half amount of carbon, decomposes, in 5-6-8 years. Which is known as the half-life, okay? Right. By multiplying the half-life, the age of creatures can be calculated. Age of creatures can be calculated. This is the technique followed, clear? That makes the sense of artifacts, that makes the sense of inscriptions, that makes the sense of coins also, clear? Now meanwhile, clear, layers has been found, human skeletons has been found, and these objects has been found. We can fix the dates also through carbon dating method. Please. Artifacts, coins, very valid thing, clear? We can fix the number of ages of the human living creature, clear? How can we analyze artifacts, coins and inscriptions, the non-living ones? Okay, fine, I'll let you know, clear? First of all, clear, the reason is, clear, if you find any skeletons beneath the ground, you have calculated the age, clear? Surrounding at that human creature or that community or that area, clear? There only you find artifacts also, coins also, inscriptions also, clear? How we can correlate them with those human beings at that time, clear? Because normally if you look into inscriptions only, clear? Inscriptions are basically something written on solid surface by the ruling classes, by the common people, clear? So obviously, clear, if they write something on inscriptions like the rock surface which could not be altered, like Ashokan inscriptions, clear, we come to know that at this time such policies were adopted by these rulers. We can correlate that these policies may have been existed. We correlate with the information inscriptions through coins also found, artifacts also found, clear? Now coming to coins only, clear? Several coins are found which depicts the name of rulers, clear? Which depict even the figure of the rulers, clear? You can correlate this skeleton or this ruling class belong to this phase and coins belong to this ruler. We can understand their political condition, we can understand their economic scenario, clear? So coins helps us to understand not only the economic position, even the political power over the area, clear? Beyond a certain point you will not find the coins of same ruler. That means his political rule extended up to this region. From that region you find the coins mentioning another ruler. You can realize that this region belonged to another ruler, clear? Artifacts also like the potteries, clear? Potteries constructed by them. How do we understand the culture from potteries, clear? The potteries largely basically comprises of or rather contain evidence of rice husk and other materials. Clear? Since this evidence are found in the potteries like rice husk, you can understand rice may have been cultivated by the people, people practice agriculture, life was settled and sedentary. Clear? So you have to correlate the informations found from different sources along with carbon dating method to have a comprehensive picture of ancient times. Clear? This is the trick largely followed by historians and experts. Clear? So not only carbon dating method correlated with artifacts, correlated with inscriptions, correlated with coins, and then only we come at conclusion or rather objective conclusion. This is clear how correlation is being done. Clear? So this is basically vertical and horizontal digging, fixing the dates through carbon dating method. Clear? Right, next paragraph. Clear? Right, apart from fixing the dates of creatures, we can correlate with informations, mentioned on inscriptions and coins, and even artifacts to draw objective conclusion. Clear? This export is clear, this idea is clear. Now coming to the sources in real sense. Clear? First of all, we'll look into artifacts, then we'll look into inscriptions, and then finally we'll look into coins. Clear? To have archaeological evidences first of all. Clear? Now coming to artifacts. Clear? First of all, meaning of the word artifacts. Clear? Artifacts is some human object which has been produced through human skill. Clear? Without involving any mechanical device. Clear? So artifacts are those objects which has been produced only by human effort without involving any machine, without involving any mechanical device. Clear? These objects produced by human beings alone are known as artifacts. Clear? Large number of artifacts has been found through excavation, which has enabled us to understand ancient Indian history. Clear? The most important artifacts produced by human beings was in form of large number of potteries. Clear? And potteries indicate not only political and economic but even social dimensions of the people from ancient past. Just understand first. Clear? Potteries are found for the first time to an age where agriculture began to be practiced. Clear? Just understand first of all, the practice of agriculture is traced back to an era which is known as Neolithic phase. We'll come to Stone Age separately. Clear? Neolithic phase means new Stone Age. Clear? So Neolithic phase started in northwestern part of India when people for the first time began to practice agriculture. The evidence of agriculture for the first time coming from Mehergarh, presently located in Pakistan. Clear? And when people began to practice agriculture, they needed some utensils to keep surplus agriculture produced, largely wheat at that time. Clear? And initially they began to produce handmade potteries. Clear? So for the first time, handmade potteries has been found, and with study of human skeletons, it has been found these potteries were made during Neolithic age. Clear? And during Neolithic age, people stored surplus food grains in handmade potteries. Clear? This was the most important artifacts produced by the people. Clear? In course of time, agriculture developed. Pottery culture also developed very largely, and through potteries we come to know about shift in agriculture preferences also of the people. Understand clearly why potteries are important. Clear? In Neolithic culture, when agriculture began to be practiced for the first time, Crude pottery through hands were made by the people, and these potteries were used to store surplus food grains. Clear? In course of time, when agriculture began to practice on a larger scale in Indus Valley civilization, clear, people began to use painted potteries, and these potteries were made through wheels. Clear? So wheel turned potteries began to be made because these potteries are of proper shape and design. Clear? These potteries are largely of black color, painted with black pink design. These potteries therefore also known as black and red ware. Clear? So black and red ware or BRW potteries were found in Indus Valley civilization. Pink color and black color was applied, which indicate people had the knowledge of colors also in Indus Valley civilization. Clear? This was another pottery. Pottery began to be refined by Indus Valley civilization. Clear? Meanwhile, when Indus Valley declined around 1900 BC, clear, we don't find any potteries along with human skeletons. Clear? Which indicate agriculture was not practiced after Indus Valley largely. Clear? Pottery start again from the later Vedic phase when Aryans began to practice agriculture, and these potteries were known as painted grey ware. Clear? That is, they were grey colored pottery made by the people at the time. Between painted grey ware and BRW in Indus Valley, we have some potteries known as ochre colored potteries or OCP, which was used by agriculture communities. Clear? Painted grey ware potteries, why they are important? Because in these potteries or along with these potteries, we found even a hard metal known as iron. That indicate iron began to be used as a metal right from the later Vedic phase from painted grey ware. Clear? Therefore, they are known as iron culture pottery. Clear? So potteries enable us not to know about agriculture only, but even metallurgical science developed by the people, as iron objects has been found in painted grey ware pottery. Clear? After painted grey pottery, the last pottery which has been found is known as northern black polished ware or NBPW. Clear? These are deluxe potteries. These are found in Gangetic plain, and in these potteries we have evidence not of wheat. It indicates evidence of rice, because rice husk has been found, which indicate that in middle Gangetic plain paddy cultivation or rice cultivation started to take place, and based on rice cultivation several urban centers began to be formed in the middle Gangetic plains. Clear? These are major artifacts of the people. All these artifacts are very important, and these artifacts indicate the agriculture practices, the metallurgical science, and the shift from the subsistence agriculture to surplus agriculture produce. Clear? These are pottery culture. Clear? So we'll understand the pottery culture from the beginning till the last pottery culture known as northern black polished ware. Clear? After this, when potteries are not found, we can infer some more information. Why? It indicates that no, people were not supposed to store their food grains in potteries. No, people were supposed to store their food grains in large granaries. Clear? And large granaries began to be found from Mauryan period. Clear? So when granaries began to be constructed, there was no need to have potteries, and therefore pottery culture came to an end, which indicate more abundant production of food grains, for which people began to construct granaries rather than storing the food grains in potteries. Clear? This has some major information to be derived with respect to artifacts, the most important being potteries. It's clear? First major thing. Right, next, clear? Right, several artifacts has been found. Several artifacts has been found. Artifacts has been found. Several artifacts has been found through excavations, and among them are large number of potteries. Among them are large number of potteries. We'll come to informations as well. Clear? Right. The first pottery belongs to The first pottery belonged to the Neolithic phase. We'll come to these phases, don't worry. Paleolithic, Mesolithic, Neolithic. Clear? The first pottery belongs to Neolithic phase. Belongs to Neolithic phase, which covered the period from 3000 BC to 2500 BC, which covered the period from 3000 BC to 2500 BC. 2500 BC, clear? That these potteries were handmade. These potteries were handmade, crude potteries, handmade to store surplus food grains, especially wheat, clear? Especially wheat, right? This indicate that agriculture started from the Neolithic phase, and life became settled. Now just understand here. We'll come to prehistory, clear? People were nomadic, people were pastoral before Neolithic phase, clear? People were pastoral and nomadic during Paleolithic and Mesolithic phase, clear? Nomadic means people did not practice agriculture, they moved with cattle and other resources from place to place, clear? So potteries along with food grains give another information. Life was settled and sedentary, and therefore crops were cultivated at this time. The first evidence coming from Mehergarh in the northwestern part of India. Neolithic culture was found not only in northwestern part of India, in the region of Kashmir. Kashmiri Neolithic culture was very unique. Then Neolithic culture was found in South India. Kashmiri Neolithic culture was found in northeastern part, including Assam as well, clear? And for your information, 3 days back only, clear, a new Neolithic site has been found in Kashmir in the region of Pulwama, clear? So new Neolithic site has been discovered at Pulwama. It's a village known as Neh, where some major bone tools and potteries has been found belonging to Neolithic phase, clear? So excavations are still going on. The subject is still very organic in nature, evolving every day. 3 days back only we have found a new Neolithic site in Kashmir, which is located in Pulwama, and initially there are 2 small major sites in Kashmir, Burza Home and Gufkaral, clear? These are very important sites in Kashmir, clear? But this was handmade potteries which began to be used, that indicate surplus food grain production, especially wheat, clear? Right, next paragraph. The Neolithic phase was followed by the Chalcolithic phase, which continued from 2500 BC to 1700 BC, 2500 BC to 1700 BC. Clear? Now, why it is known as Chalcolithic? Chalco means copper, lithic means stone. Clear? So, by this time, copper began to be used. Don't just understand. Clear? Copper is the first metal to be used in India. Copper largely being found from Khetri mines in Rajasthan, clear? People began to use copper along with stone implements. The phase came to be known as Chalcolithic phase, that is copper stone phase, clear? During this phase, people again practiced agriculture and they began to use a pottery. This pottery is known as ochre colored pottery or OCP. These potteries were wheel turned potteries and they were known as ochre colored. They were mud colored pottery known as OCP pottery or OCP ware. Clear? This was in Chalcolithic phase. Here only understand. Clear? While this phase was going on, in between this phase, clear, surplus agriculture produced took place in Indus Valley. Clear? And that is why from basically 2200 BC to 1900 BC, clear, there was matured urbanization that took place in Indus Valley. This matured urbanization within Chalcolithic phase is known as Indus Valley civilization. Clear? And in Indus Valley civilization, potteries continued. Surplus production was taking place. Clear? But these potteries are known as black and red ware because it was marked by black and red color on the potteries. Clear? After urban civilization came to an end, people again reverted back to Chalcolithic culture and people continued OCP culture. Clear? So Chalcolithic culture was before Indus Valley, Chalcolithic culture was even after Indus Valley, OCP culture was before Indus Valley, OCP culture was after Indus Valley, and in between we have a culture known as BRW, also known as black and red ware. Now why this pottery is important, just understand. Clear? OCP culture yields some copper implements in the region of in the phase of Chalcolithic. Clear? But when black and red potteries has been found, clear, apart from evidence of wheat and other crops, multiple crops like sesame, mustard, peas, which were cultivated in Indus Valley, we have found one more metal here. Clear? And in BRW we have found some bronze implements. Clear? Now what does bronze implements indicate? Clear? Bronze is produced by mixing the alloys of copper and tin. Clear? Copper was already available from Chalcolithic phase. Tin was procured from northwestern region, that is Afghanistan, and it was mixed between copper and tin to produce bronze. Clear? So BRW has also yielded bronze implements, which indicate that people mastered the technique of mixing copper and tin to produce bronze, and therefore Indus Valley civilization technologically is also known as Bronze Age civilization. Clear? And we come to know about this bronze implements through large number of potteries where bronze implements has been found in these potteries known as black and red ware. Clear? So in between the Chalcolithic phase, we had a very prominent development of urbanization, which is marked by another pottery known as BRW, from where we can get much more vital information to understand Indus Valley civilization. Clear? In OCP we find only evidence of wheat. Here we don't find evidence only of wheat, rather we find evidence of sesame, mustard, peas, rye. All these were cultivated in Indus Valley civilization. Along with this, metal known as bronze has been found, which indicate they mastered the metallurgical science of mixing copper and tin. Clear? So pottery artifacts can give much more vital information to reconstruct the past history. Clear? Right about this. Clear? Clear? Right. During Chalcolithic phase, people began to use copper and stone implements, which are found in ochre colored pottery. Ochre means mud color, which are found in ochre colored pottery, or OCP. Clear? Like these potteries provide evidence. Of wheat. Clear? Change paragraph. Right. Practice of agriculture led to economic diversity. Even trade and commerce began to take place, led to economic diversity and growth of urban centers, clear? Right, such development took the form of civilization, in the Indus Valley, clear? Right, during this urban phase, people began to produce colored pottery. Sophistication was there. People began to produce colored pottery, known as the black and red ware, BRW, colored pottery known as black and red ware. Clear? Like these potteries provides evidence. Of diverse crops, like wheat, barley, BARLEY, wheat, barley, rye, RAI, rye, mustard, sarson, mustard, and peas, matar, PEAS, and peas, clear? Right, which indicate crop diversification, right? Very important sentence, clear? Right, it must be noted that there is no evidence of rice. In Indus Valley pottery. Make it very clear. Rice was not cultivated. Clear? Indus Valley pottery. Clear? All are BRW. Right. Moreover, these potteries, we are talking as sources. Moreover, these potteries has yielded, YIELDED, these potteries has yielded bronze implements. These potteries has yielded bronze implements, which imply that people mastered, the technique of mixing copper and tin. Clear? Right here only. Right. Therefore, Indus Valley civilizations, technologically known as bronze civilization, the bronze civilization. It's clear? Civilization. Till this point it's clear? Please. In pottery only. Yeah, I'll let you know why this thing, clear? Because there has been one solitary evidence, clear, of a pottery containing the evidence of rice husk. Clear? This solitary evidence of a pottery with rice husk has been found from a city known as Lothal. Clear? We'll come to those exceptions when we'll discuss Indus Valley civilization. Clear? So solitary find of rice husk in a pottery has been found at Lothal. Clear? And as we'll discuss, Lothal was basically the port city of Indus Valley civilization. Large dockyard has also been found at Lothal. Clear? That is largely it is accepted that this pottery may have arrived to Lothal from the contemporary civilization of Mesopotamia or Sumerians. Clear? Because we had a very flourishing trade with Mesopotamians or Sumerians. Clear? They cultivated rice there. Clear? And since there was regular connectivity, ships were coming from Mesopotamia to the coast of Lothal, the one pot containing rice may have come from Mesopotamia to Lothal. Clear? If that could happen a common practice, we could not have find only one pot containing the evidence of rice husk. We could have found large number of potteries with rice husk. Clear? And if we look into the northwestern region even now, where Indus Valley flourished, clear, it is basically most suited for wheat cultivation. Clear? For rice cultivation, we need water intensive regions, waterlogged regions. Clear? This region is not waterlogged. Clear? Waterlogged regions is basically middle and lower Gangetic plains. And when shift to this place, we'll see we have the evidence of paddy or rice. Clear? So one solitary pot has been found at Lothal which contains the evidence of rice husk, but that pot is largely presumed to have come from the region of Mesopotamia. Clear? Because no other pottery with rice husk has been found in the entire Indus Valley civilization. So it has been concluded rice was not cultivated, rice was rather brought to some extent or limited extent from Mesopotamia. Clear? Cultivation only of wheat. Please. We'll come to that. Clear? Why BRW stopped at that point of time. We'll discuss this factor also. Clear? First of all, this question is clear. So at Lothal, we have come, and we'll come to Lothal elaborately. Why? We are constructing National Maritime Complex at Lothal to promote maritime trade with the region of Arabian Sea. Clear? Very important development going on at Lothal. Clear? We have proposed the name of Lothal to be included in World Heritage Site also by Ministry of Culture. Lothal located in Gujarat. Clear? Now, after this, clear? Why BRW stopped after 1900 BC? Why we could not continue with this pottery thereafter also? Why again we began to find OCP only till 1700 BC? The reason I will let you know. Clear? Chalcolithic culture is one culture which was before Harappan civilization, which was to some extent during Indus Valley civilization, which was even after Harappan civilization. Clear? So Chalcolithic culture has got a long time span. Clear? OCP culture has a long time span. Clear? In fact, the Chalcolithic culture before Indus Valley is known as pre-Harappan Chalcolithic. Clear? Chalcolithic culture after Harappan civilization known as post-Harappan Chalcolithic culture. Clear? So Chalcolithic continued. Now, why Chalcolithic only continued? Why BRW stopped? Clear? When we'll discuss Indus Valley, I'll let you know. Clear? The most important reason that led to decline of Indus Valley civilization was clear that people cultivated the Indus plain almost for 400 years. Clear? Cultivating the same piece of agriculture land continuously quite obviously led to erosion in the soil fertility. Clear? So even though Indus plain was very fertile, clear, but if you keep on cultivating the same land continuously, fertility of the soil will obviously get eroded. Clear? With erosion of soil fertility, production also declined. Clear? On the one hand, production declined, on the other hand, population went on multiplying. Clear? And that created an ecological imbalance in Indus Valley region. Clear? And according to ecological expert, that is fair service. Clear? He argues that because of this ecological imbalance, clear, large number of people could not be fed without working on agriculture. This time, why it is urbanization? Clear? Maximum number of people could divert towards non-agriculture activities because agriculture led to surplus production. How do we define an urban center now also? Clear? We define urban center whereby 75% of the people are engaged in non-agriculture activities. That's the definition of urban center. Clear? At that time also 75% of the people were engaged in non-agriculture activities. Clear? But when they realize production is not sufficient enough, clear, all of them realize they need to revert back to agriculture. Clear? And to revert back to agriculture, what they did was they abandoned the urban centers like Harappa, Mohenjo-daro, Lothal, Kalibangan, and so on. Clear? They reverted back again to agriculture. They began to lead a village and community life once again, and therefore this reversion to the community life, village life again led to Chalcolithic culture. Clear? They left use of bronze. Why? Afghanistan was left, so tin could not be procured. When tin was not there, obviously bronze could not be produced. They restricted themselves to copper and stone implements, so they began to follow Chalcolithic culture once again. Clear? Now when urban culture came to an end, when sophistication came to an end, people reverted back to rural areas once again. Clear? They needed to go again with the simple potteries produced in the rural areas. This simple potteries again were OCP ware. So they stopped production of the deluxe pottery known as black and red ware. In fact, they stopped the use of colors only. Clear? When they stopped the use of colors, the potteries produced through mud, they actually acquired mud color. This mud color pottery is known as ochre colored pottery. Clear? It was largely because people abandoned urban areas, reverted back to rural areas. In rural areas, they again began to take agriculture with use of copper and stone implements, which is known as post-Harappan Chalcolithic phase. It's clear? Clear. And why they had painted pottery? Because they needed to store not only food grains, multiple food grains like wheat, rye, barley, and so on, and even materials of bronze. Clear? Now they were not supposed to store these materials. Simple potteries began to make. These potteries are known as ochre colored potteries. Logic is clear. Everything is logical. You don't have to memorize anything. If you understand logically, ancient India is quite logical and scientific. Clear? Meanwhile, just understand. Clear? This culture or Chalcolithic culture continued till 1700 BC. Clear? After this, the Chalcolithic culture also began to come to an end. Why? I'll let you know. Clear? From 1700 BC, groups of warriors began to enter India from the northwestern side. These warriors are known as the Aryans in India. Clear? When Aryans came to India, clear, they easily defeated the local inhabitants of India because Aryans came with horses from Central Asia. Horses has never been breeded in India. Clear? And just because of quality horses, they provided swiftness and mobility to Aryan warriors. They defeated the local inhabitants of India and they promoted their own culture. Clear? This culture promoted by Aryans in India, this culture is known as the Vedic culture. Why we call this Vedic culture? They started the literary tradition in India. Clear? Literary tradition means they first of all began to compose the hymns, and these hymns were incorporated in Vedas or Vedas, the first Vedas being the Rig Veda. Clear? In fact, there only are listeners. Clear? This phase is known as the phase of prehistory. Clear? We'll come to this understanding also. Clear? The phase of prehistory is that phase which is based totally on archaeological evidences. Clear? No literary evidence at all. Clear? The phase of Indus Valley civilization, this phase is known as proto-history because we had the concept of writing known as pictographic script, but that script has not been deciphered yet. Clear? So it is known as prehistory followed by proto-history. And with arrival of Aryans, we mark the true beginning of history because literary evidences began to be found. Clear? So history is also divided on sources only. Clear? One is prehistory, then followed by proto-history, and then followed by history. Clear? And history starts with arrival of Aryans in India. They composed the first literary work known as the Rig Veda. Clear? And this Vedic culture itself is divided into two phases. One is known as the Rig Vedic culture, another is known as the later Vedic culture. Clear? Rig Vedic culture is from 1700 to basically 1000 BC. Clear? And later Vedic is from 1000 BC to 600 BC. Why I am having this distinction here itself? Clear? In the Rig Vedic phase, the Aryans also remain to be nomadic. pastoral. Clear? They fought battles not for land, they fought battles only for cattle. Clear? And therefore they remain to be nomadic. Since life will remain nomadic, potteries cannot be found. Clear? When do we find the potteries? When agriculture is practiced, when life is settled and sedentary. Clear? We don't have any pottery during this phase. Clear? So there's a clear break. Clear? Potteries are found only till 1700 BC. From 1700 to 1000 BC, we don't have any pottery. Clear? We can easily conclude one thing: agriculture was not practiced, life was settled and life was pastoral and nomadic. And that is clearly mentioned even in Rig Veda also. Clear? That Aryans were nomadic people who moved from place to place and they fought battles only for cattle. The term for cattle is Gavishti, mentioned in the Rig Veda. Clear? From by 1000 BC, Aryans moved to lower and middle Gangetic plain. And how come they moved to lower Gangetic plain? In 1000 BC, clear, Aryans found a very important metal in India, and this metal was iron. Clear? So first metal was copper, then the second metal was bronze. To some extent, now they found a metal known as iron. Clear? When they found iron, iron originally being found at a place known as Atranji Khera, located in the Eta district of Western Uttar Pradesh. Clear? When they found this hard metal iron in 1000 BC, the life got completely transformed. What they did was, with hard metal iron, they cleared the dense forest of upper and middle Gangetic plain. They colonized the upper and middle Gangetic plain, and they found this region to be very fertile. The reason is, this region is drained by river Ganga and its tributaries. Clear? And therefore this region is known as the highly fertile region because of alluvial soil. Clear? And from 1000 BC, they began to practice agriculture. Clear? So nomadic lifestyle of the Aryans got transformed into settled life by 1000 BC when they practiced agriculture. Clear? And when they began to practice agriculture, clear, they largely focused on cultivating rice. Clear? Because this region is a waterlogged region and rice is a water intensive crop. Clear? They began to cultivate rice. Clear? And at the same time they began to use iron implements. Clear? And in order to store surplus food grains, they also began to produce potteries from here, and this pottery is known as painted graveware. Clear? So they started the pottery culture known as painted graveware. So there's a gap between OCP and painted graveware, and there's a gap of 1700 BC to 1000 BC, this painted graveware. This painted graveware pottery is also associated with iron culture in India. Clear? Because in this painted graveware, we have found not only evidence of rice husk, we have found iron implements as well. Clear? Which is a very important development, and through these potteries we can easily construct the history of, or material history of, the later Vedic Aryans, as they had the idea of iron. And they mention about this iron in later Vedic texts also. They use a term for them, Shyam Ayas, also known as Krishna Ayas. Clear? Because of dark complexion of the metal, it was known as Shyam Ayas, it was known as Krishna Ayas. Shyam means of dusky complexion. Clear? This metal was of dusky complexion. They use a term Shyam Ayas or Krishna Ayas. Clear? This metal has been found in painted graveware along with evidence of rice husk. Clear? Now look into the shift from Neolithic to this phase. How people began to travel, how people began to develop, and this is known as Iron Age pottery. This is known as painted graveware pottery. Clear? And leave aside these things. The most important thing I'll let you know. Clear? In these potteries largely found in the upper Gangetic plain, especially at places like Hastinapur. Clear? In some of the potteries we have found iron arrowheads also. Clear? And this indicates that they began to produce iron arrowheads for warfare. Clear? And later Vedic text mentions about a very important battle at Hastinapur and Kurukshetra in the later Vedic phase. This battle was fought between Kauravas and Pandavas for land, territory. Clear? And this became the major theme of the epic Mahabharata. Clear? So this epic traces back to the later Vedic phase when battle was fought between Kauravas and Pandavas, which is indicated in the books also that mention use of iron arrowheads. And these arrowheads has been found in the potteries known as painted graveware, largely discovered from the region of Hastinapur and Kurukshetra. Very important battlegrounds in ancient times. Clear? This continued from 1000 BC till 600 BC. Now, what was the consequence? Clear? Do understand logically. As agriculture started to be practiced from Neolithic age, it went on developing in Chalcolithic phase. It led to summit or zenith of agriculture production, leading to urbanization known as Indus Valley civilization. Clear? Because large number of people got diverted to non-agriculture activities like trade and commerce. Similar phenomena was repeated again. History repeats. Clear? From here also just understand. Clear? Nomadic people here, that like in the Stone Age, this nomadic people began to practice agriculture from 1000 BC via potteries. They continued to practice agriculture till 600 BC when they entered into more fertile region of lower Gangetic plain, that is northern Bihar and eastern Uttar Pradesh. Clear? When they entered into this region, they started abundant production of rice. Clear? When they again started surplus production of food articles, large number of people diverted to non-agriculture activities like trade and commerce. And here also by 600 BC, we found growth of urban centers in middle Gangetic plain. Clear? These urban centers is known as second urbanization in Indian history. The first being Indus Valley civilization. When second urbanization took place, again sophistication came like here. Clear? And here also for the first time they began to use deluxe pottery. They began to use sophisticated pottery. Clear? During second urbanization, this pottery is known as Northern Black Polished Ware or NBPW. Clear? So BRW is associated with first urbanization. NBPW is associated with second urbanization. Clear? Now, what is the importance of NBPW? Clear? NBPW has yielded not only evidence of rice husk. Clear? The most important thing is these potteries has yielded iron implements in large numbers. Clear? These potteries has yielded one more thing here. Clear? And that thing is large number of coins. Clear? Because in second urbanization from 6000 BC, people began to promote domestic trade through their own currencies and coins. Clear? And the first currency to be used by the people were in form of punch marked coins. Clear? These punch marked coins are largely found in the potteries known as NBPW. Clear? Which gives another information. Coinage began to be circulated for the first time in second urbanization as large number of punch marked coins known as karsapanas, also known as panas, in the Vedic texts are mentioned. Clear? Which indicate monetization started to develop in economy largely at this time. Clear? All these informations coming through NBPW, which helps us to reconstruct ancient Indian history. Clear? Now question arises, like here also she asks BRW, why after this we don't find any potteries from after 6th century BC? Clear? Because from here we'll understand, very important. Clear? When surplus agriculture produce began to take place in the lower Gangetic plain, clear, large number of rulers emerged. They began to maintain large standing army because now they could pay regular salaries to the army because they collected taxes because of agriculture. Clear? And therefore powerful rulers, they established large estates in 6th century BC. 16 large estates were established in 6th century BC to be known as Mahajanpads. Clear? And among the Mahajanpads, the most powerful Mahajanpad was in the heart of Gangetic plain, that is Magad. Clear? And in course of time, the rulers of Magad expanded and Magad got transformed into a large empire known as Mauryan Empire. Clear? The rulers of Magad went on collecting regular taxes and tributes. Clear? And when they began to collect regular taxes and tributes, which is even mentioned by Kautilya in his work Arthashastra, when established the Mauryan Empire. Clear? Now people needed not to store their food grains in the potteries. Clear? Now people or influential people began to have granaries to store large amount of food grains. And more importantly, why they needed to store food grains? Why they didn't needed potteries? Clear? Now the surplus food grains could be sold in the market, and after selling the potteries, they could convert the produce into coins. Clear? And these coins were known as punch marked coins. Clear? And these punch marked coins began to be kept at the back of the houses, not in the potteries. Clear? So pottery culture began to decline and it ultimately ended with Mahajanpas began to be formed in 6th century BC, which reached its culmination under Mauryans, especially Ashok, the greatest ruler of ancient India. Very important artifacts. Artifacts per se is not important. Important thing is what historical informations we can derive with this pottery. Is clear? So we can derive very valuable informations about the past tradition. Clear? Pottery culture ends with NBPW. This concept is clear. It's quite logical. Clear? You don't have to mug up anything. Understand logically, when agriculture is not there, there cannot be potteries. Clear? When agriculture is there, you will find potteries. Clear? And when large states were formed and coins began to be circulated, surplus food grains got converted into coins. After selling them in open market, now people began to have more and more coins. So they didn't need any potteries thereafter. Pottery culture comes to an end. Clear? Write about this development also. Clear? We are retailed in OCP. Clear? Right, next. Clear? Right. The OCP culture, the OCP culture came to an end around 1700 BC, came to an end around 1700 BC, and there is a clear break, in break, B-R-E-A-K, there's a clear break in pottery culture, So excavations, we have not found any pottery from 1700 to 1000, clear? Pottery, clear? Right, by 1700 BC, Central Asian warriors, the Aryans, Central Asian warriors, the Aryans entered India from the northwestern side, but remained to be nomadic. Saptasindha region, land of 7 rivers, Punjab, but remained to be nomadic. Clear? So since they were nomadic, agriculture was not practiced, they didn't go for potteries. Clear? Right, they continued with pastoral lifestyle, the pastoral lifestyle till 1000 BC, almost for 700 years, pastoral life till 1000 BC, when they discovered hard metal or iron. The entire ancient India got revolutionized with iron. Clear? Hard metal like iron. Clear? Right. With this metal, they cleared the dense forest. Of middle and lower Gangetic plains. Dense forest of middle and lower Gangetic plains. The entire Gangetic plain, in fact, clear? Gangetic plain, and found thick layers of alluvial soil, most suited for agriculture. Thick layers of alluvial soil, A-L-L-U-V-I-A-L, thick layers of alluvial soil, clear? Right. Consequently, they began to practice agriculture. Consequently, they began to practice agriculture and emphasized on water intensive crop, emphasized on water intensive crop, paddy, water intensive crop, rice or paddy, clear? Right. From 1000 BC, from 1000 BC, people began to produce a definite pottery. People began to produce a definite pottery known as the painted graveware, PGW, the painted graveware, PGW, to store rice, clear? Right, these potteries has also yielded iron objects, especially arrowheads, I hope understand arrowheads. One, clear? Especially arrowheads, clear? Right. This indicate military clash. This indicate military clash, and it is clearly mentioned. In Vedic literature, that a war was fought between Kauravas and the Kauravas and Pandavas. For land this time, clear? Kauravas and Pandavas in the region of Hastinapur and Kurukshetra, Upper Gangetic Plain, in the region of Hastinapur and Kurukshetra. I hope you can write the two cities, two regions, Hastinapur and Kurukshetra. We'll come to Mahabharata separately. We have historical evidence for Mahabharata. Clear? PGW culture. Clear? Change paragraph. Right. By 6th century BC, surplus production of rice took place. In the lower Gangetic plain, and people adopted diverse activities like trade and commerce. All happens with agriculture. Diverse activities like trade and commerce. Clear? Commerce. Right. They also began to issue coins for transactions. Known as the punch marked coins, marked coin. Symbols were punched, clear? Known as punch marked coins. Punch marked, one of the earliest coins, clear? Punch marked coins, clear? Right, right. The people established urban centers. The people established urban centers and produced deluxe pottery, highly sophisticated pottery, and produced deluxe pottery, technically known as the northern black polished ware, NBPW, the northern black polished ware, NBPW. Northern black glossy potteries, clear? Northern black polished ware, NBPW, clear? NBPW, right? It was the last pottery of ancient history, as people began to convert surplus food grains into coins, currency, surplus food grains into coins. Now from here, currency and coinage started to take place, clear? So potteries was followed by currency and coinage. Now currency and coinage began to be used as sources of history, clear? So till this time we relied largely on potteries, clear? Very important artifact. This is the history also. Chronology can also be asked to arrange the pottery culture in India, clear? Now apart from this, clear? There's one human artifact produced by the people largely, clear? Apart from this human artifact, we'll come to coins separately, clear? Other artifacts were also produced in this period, which enable us to know more about the people in ancient India, clear? In fact, again, I'll let you know, clear? When Paleolithic, Mesolithic, Neolithic phase was followed by Chalcolithic, we had discussed in Chalcolithic phase, abundant production of food grains led to economic diversity. This economic diversity led to urbanization, which is known as Indus Valley Civilization. In Indus Valley Civilization, people produced some handmade artifacts with terra cota, clear? Terra cota is a mixture of mud and clay. We won't go into the artifacts produced through metals as of now, clear? But some artifacts were made with hand by mixing hand and clay, or mixing clay and mud, clear? Through those terracottas also, through those artifacts also, we know largely about the beliefs and practices of Indus Valley people. And why we have to rely more on that, clear? Because still our information about Indus Valley civilization is restricted, because the script of Indus Valley civilization, that is the pictographic script, has not been deciphered yet, clear? So we need to rely more on artifacts to understand more and more about Indus Valley civilization, clear? And in terracotta, mixture of mud and clay, clear? People of Indus Valley civilization produced large number of terracotta figurines of mother goddesses, clear? Why these figurines are very important from historical perspective, clear? It first of all indicate that people worshipped mother goddesses in Indus Valley civilization, but these mother goddesses are depicted by showing plants growing from their embryo, which indicate mother goddesses were worshipped as fertility goddesses by the people, as their entire system depended on agriculture, clear? So entire leverage was to be generated from agriculture. They prayed to mother goddesses to maintain the fertility of the soil, and therefore these terracotta figurines are shown with plants growing from their embryo, which indicate fertility goddesses were worshipped. Clear? Apart from this, there's a depiction of male deity also on some of the seals. Clear? This male deity is shown in a yogic posture, and this male deity is shown by surrounded by animals. Clear? This male deity is surrounded by animals like elephant, tiger, rhinoceros and buffalo, along with 2 deer or antelope near his feet. Clear? Since this god is depicted with animals surrounding him, this god is identified as god of animals, to be also known as Pashupati Mahadev. Clear? Which indicate livestock rearing was also emphasized to support agriculture. Clear? So animal husbandry was equally very important to Indus Valley people, along with ensuring the fertility of the soil, which indicate leverage was largely only from agriculture. Clear? And when problem took place in agriculture, they reverted back to rural areas and they again began to pursue Chalcolithic culture. Clear? All this indicate the importance of agriculture, animal husbandry, livestock rearing. Clear? Moreover, wherever the seal depicting Pashupati Mahadev has been found, clear, surrounding this is large number of phallus symbols of Terra Cota has also been found. Phallus symbols are basically Shivling, clear, which indicate that he was worshipped in form of earlier lordship, because we all know Shivling or phallus symbols got intimately connected with worship of lordship in course of time. Clear? Which indicate that belief in practicing or worshipping the earlier form of lordship known as proto-Shiv, as Shivling or phallus symbols has been found, which are made of clay and mud, known as Terra Cota. Clear? Very important artifact produced by Indus Valley people, and that can give enough information or inferences about Indus Valley people, their beliefs and practices. Clear? This was Terra Cota artifacts. Clear? Coming to artifacts produced in stone also. Clear? The people continued to use stone along with bronze implements. Clear? And the most important stone artifact produced by Indus Valley people was a stone statue of a bearded man. Clear? Which has been found from the city of Mohenjo-daro. Clear? This bearded man is shown with eyes half closed, which indicate his meditative bent of mind, and several scholars have argued he was an priest of Indus Valley civilization. Clear? So gods and goddesses were worshipped, and there was a priest also, which is indicated through a eyes half closed, and this has been found at Mohenjo-daro. Clear? Another important thing from this priest is, clear, this priest is shown with very decorated shawl or cloth on his shoulder, which has got floral designs. Clear? That indicate Indus Valley people had the idea of producing clothes. Clear? And this can be justified. Why? Based on this artifact, we have studied the records of Mesopotamia. Clear? And Mesopotamian records mention that Indus Valley people, they produce cotton. Clear? Because they use a term for cotton in the records known as Sindon. Clear? Derived from the word Sindhu. Clear? Because this civilization was largely in the region of Sindhu basin. Clear? And therefore they use the word Sindon for cotton. That indicate craft of cloth making was also known to Indus Valley people through the artifact of priest found from the city of Mohenjo-daro. Clear? So terracotta artifacts, then we have stone artifacts. Now coming to metal artifacts. Clear? We all know that Indus Valley people mastered the technique of metallurgical science by mixing the alloys of copper and tin, that is bronze. Clear? And in this material, that is bronze, they produce the most sophisticated artifact, most sophisticated sculpture, and that was of bronze dancing girl. Clear? And this bronze dancing girl also speaks a lot about Indus Valley civilization. Clear? So we can have many information from this sculpture of bronze dancing girl. What are those informations? Clear? First of all, bronze dancing girl is depicted in a dancing gesture, which indicate art of performing dance was known to Indus Valley people. This girl is shown with a gesture known as Tribhang. Tribhang means bending or twisting the body at 3 points simultaneously, and this Tribhang gesture is found in this bronze dancing girl. Clear? This bronze dancing girl is depicted with high sense of beautification and ornamentation. Clear? Her two hands are marked by large number of glass bangles, clear, which indicate the technique of glass making was known. This bronze dancing girl is shown with a large necklace around her neck, clear, which indicate bead making was known to the Indus Valley people, as this necklace is of bead, clear. This girl is shown with use of kajal, that indicate high sense of beautification, and her hairs are well combed and arranged, which indicate combs were also known to Indus Valley people, clear. All these informations are derived from bronze dancing girl. But one other thing that can be inferred is, clear, this girl is depicted without having clothes on her body, clear, which indicate a certain amount of gender discrimination, because male priest is shown with a decorated cloth on his shoulder, but bronze dancing girl is not shown with any cloth. That indicate certain kind of gender discrimination may also have been practiced by Indus Valley civilization, clear. This is known as metal artifact, clear. So we have terracotta artifacts, we have stone artifacts, we have metal artifacts, clear. And more importantly, clear, this bronze dancing girl with all delicate design was made with a very important technique. This technique is known as lost wax technique, clear, which was later on mastered in Indian history, and it was practiced by Cholas to manufacture the bronze sculpture of dancing Lord Shiv known as Nataraj, clear. Nataraj has also been made through lost wax technique, clear. What was this lost wax technique? Mastered by the Harappans for artifacts, will come to lost wax technique as well. Many informations can be derived from mother goddesses, from the male deity, from the male priest, and also from bronze dancing girl. Three categorization: terracotta artifacts, stone artifact, metal artifact. Clear from Indus Valley, apart from pottery. Is clear? Right, next paragraph. Clear? Right, large number of artifacts, large number of artifacts has been excavated, large number of artifacts has been excavated from Indus Valley civilization, excavated from Indus Valley civilization, which are broadly classified, as the Terra Cota artifacts, classified as Terra Cota artifacts, comma, stone artifacts, and metal artifacts, clear? Right, with respect to terracotta, mud and clay, with respect to terracotta, people produced the sculptures of mother goddesses, clear? Right, these goddesses are depicted, with plants growing from embryo, which indicate that mother goddesses were worshipped, as fertile fertility goddesses. Worshipped as fertility goddesses. Everything dependent on agriculture. Worshipped as fertility goddesses. Clear? Goddesses. Right. Right. Several seals of terracotta, several seals, SEALS, several seals of terracotta, mud and clay, seals of terracotta depict a male god, depict a male god, male deity, male god, depict a male god in a yogic posture, in a yogic, YOGIC, meditative, in a yogic posture. Yeah? That this male god is surrounded by, this male god is surrounded by animals, surrounded by animals like elephant, tiger, rhinoceros, and buffalo. Elephant, tiger, rhinoceros, and buffalo, along with two deer, DEER, along with two deer near his feet. Two deer, DEER, heron, two deer near his feet. Clear? Right. This god is identified as, this god is identified as god of animals, identified as god of animals, or Pashupati Mahadev. Pashu means animals, clear? God of animals, or Pashupati Mahadev. Right indication. Indication is important for us, clear? Right. This god indicate the importance of livestock. Importance of livestock. 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 For agriculture, animals. Livestock for agriculture. Agriculture. Clear? Right. Surrounding these seals. Surrounding these seals. SEALS. Surrounding these seals. Several phallus symbols are found. Several phallus symbols are found. Phallus symbols are found, which came to be intimately connected. Which came to be intimately connected with the worship of, intimately connected with the worship of Lordship. Worship of Lordship. There, right here. Right. Therefore, the religion of Hinduism. Therefore, the religion of Hinduism is traced back to Indus Valley civilization, is traced back to Indus Valley civilization, and it is considered to be, the world's oldest religion. Considered to be the world's oldest religion, just because of this evidence. World's oldest religion. Terracotta artifacts, very important one. Coming to stone artifacts. Clear? Change paragraph. Right. Indus Valley people produced the Indus Valley people produce the stone artifact of a bearded priest. Stone artifact of a bearded priest. Stone artifact of a bearded priest with a decorated cloth on his shoulder, with decorated cloth on his shoulder. Decorated cloth on his shoulder. Clear? Right. The people of civilization in this valley, the people of civilization knew about the craft of cloth making, which is mentioned in Mesopotamian records. Clear? Right. The term for cotton used in Mesopotamia was Sindon, derived from the word Sindhu. Sindon, derived from the word Sindhu. That is Indus Valley, right from the word Sindhu. Clear? Chain Sindhu. SINDHU. Clear? Chain paragraph. Right. The Harappans or Indus Valley, the Harappans mastered the technique of metal artifact, and produce the sculpture of bronze dancing girl. Clear? Right. This sculpture was made through lost wax technique. We need to know the sophistication. Was made through lost wax technique. First of all, we'll understand, then we'll come to features. Clear? Lost wax technique. So major informations, and why I'm discussing this, just understand. Clear? Indus Valley has to be studied on the basis of these sources because pictographic script has not been deciphered. So we have to rely more on artifacts and archaeological remains. Clear? Now, what exactly is the lost wax technique? We'll just understand this. Clear? According to this technique, first of all, the sculpture is made in soft material, that is wax. Clear? Once the sculpture is made in soft material like wax with all delicate designs, clear? This sculpture is covered with thick layers of mud and clay. Clear? And when this stuff is covered with thick layers of mud and clay, certain holes are left deliberately. Clear? When the clay cover gets solidified, clear, through heating, clear, we get the wax drained away through the holes. Clear? So all the wax are drained away through heating, and meanwhile we get another framework of clay. Clear? After this framework is available, hollow from inside, clear, we start pouring the metal in molten form into this clay cover. Clear? This molten or this metal form or molten form is allowed to get solidified. Clear? It takes the shape of the original wax sculpture. Clear? Once the metal gets solidified, the outer clay cover is removed with heating. Clear? And then we get a metal sculpture which is of perfect and delicate design, and this technique is known as lost wax technique. Clear? This technique was also known to the people, and they produced the sculpture of bronze dancing girl through lost wax technique. Clear? Later on, this technique was mastered by imperial Cholas, who produced the sculpture of dancing lordship known as Tandav. Clear? Which is known in Indian culture as Nataraj. Clear? So Nataraj was a great sculpture produced by the Cholas with the same technique known as lost wax technique. Clear? It was first applied by Indus Valley people for a major metal artifact. Clear? Techniques clear? Lost wax technique. Write about this technique. Clear? That according to this technique, soft material like wax is used. Soft material like wax is used. Wax is used to produce a sculpture. Which is covered with the layer of mud and clay. Okay. That after some time the wax is drained away. Drained away through heating. And metal in molten form is poured. P-O-U-R-E-D is poured in the clay framework. Clear? Right. After metal gets solidified, the clay cover is removed. To get a metal sculpture. Lost wax technique to get a metal sculpture. Clear? Now coming to informations. Clear? Chain paragraph. Right. The bronze dancing girl. Indicate the dancing gesture. Of Tribhang. Which indicate that art of dance was known to the people. That too sophisticated one, known to the people. Tribhang. Clear? Right now it is performed by Odissi dancers. Tribhang. Clear? Twisting the body at 3 points simultaneously. Clear? Right. This sculpture shows glass bangles, shows glass bangles, which indicate the craft of glass making, craft of glass making. We can inform many informations. Glass making, clear, right? She is shown with a large necklace. She is shown with a large necklace made of beads. Large necklace made of beads. B-E-A-D-S. Large necklace made of beads. That is stones, precious stones. Clear? Large necklace made of beads. Beads. Which indicate the craft of bead making. The craft of bead making. Okay. Right. She is also shown with combed hairs, well arranged hairs, shown with combed, C-O-M-B-E-D, combed hairs, and use of kajal, K-A-J-A-L, and use of kajal. Okay, right. Such informations can be used to understand sense of beautification, Okay. Right. Finally, the bronze dancing girl is depicted without any clothes, which indicate a kind of gender discrimination. Yeah, please. With one sculpture we cannot come, but there are other indications of hierarchy. Clear? When we come to Indus Valley, we'll discuss. Clear? That is that hierarchy is indicated by upper town and lower town. Clear? That citadel and the lower town. Clear? The administrative classes were living in the upper areas. The lower areas were meant for the common people. Because of their economically influential position. Obviously it got indicated, but not with sculpture. Hierarchy got indicated largely with respect to the town planning. Clear? Because all major craftsmen, all major administrative people, leading traders, they always stayed in the citadel. Clear? Common people in the lower town, and common people in the lower town were very vulnerable to floods, because most of the cities were located on the flood banks, clear, or other river banks, clear. So obviously that indicate a kind of discrimination, clear. But gender discrimination is also highlighted through this point, whereby this bronze dancing girl is shown without any clothes. Priest has got a decorated clothes on his shoulder, clear. But social hierarchy as such, clear, is indicated by the system of town planning. We'll come to town planning when they discuss Indus Valley. No, you cannot associate this with hierarchy, social hierarchy, clear. It can only indicate gender discrimination to some extent, clear, not hierarchy, clear. You mean to say that if a priest is there, a bronze dancing girl is there, it does indicate the hierarchy with respect to the priestly class, then other sections, and then the lower sections of the society, clear. See, again I'll let you know, clear. There is a priestly, or there is a bearded priest that has been found. Clear? Still it has to be proved that whether he was actually a priest or not. Clear? It can be a simple man also. Why? Because still we have to wait for pictographic script to be deciphered. Clear? To identify what actually he was. Clear? But normally it is accepted that it is in a meditative bent of mind, he may be a priest. Clear? Even though a priest was there. Clear? Priestly class enjoyed the high section or supposition society, still cannot be said with concrete evidences. Why? Clear? It has been inferred by scholars that the most powerful section in Indus Valley were traders and merchants. Clear? In fact, Indus Valley people was ruled largely by traders and merchants. Now, if traders and merchants were the most dominant person, clear? Obviously, the priestly class could not have been as dominating as they became later on in Vedic age. Clear? So, still concrete evidence is not there. Religion because of mother goddesses, because of proto-Shiv. Again, I'll let you know. Clear? You need you need someone to perform rituals. Clear? But actually, I'll let you know. Clear? We don't have any evidence that rituals were performed in Indus Valley. Clear? How can we say rituals performed? If we could have found some Havan Kund or fire pit. Clear? As we found from Vedic age. Clear? We don't find such places in Indus Valley civilization. Clear? Mother goddesses are worshipped itself as fertility goddesses. Clear? So every people worshipped mother goddesses without intermediary. Clear? At the same time, they worshipped male god without any intermediary, because all of them needed fertile soil, all of them needed animal or livestock population. Clear? So it is not likely to prove that there were some intermediaries who performed rituals in Indus Valley civilization. If there would have been multiple number of sculptures found of bearded priests, we could have said that priestly class acted as the intermediaries between the god and the people. But only one evidence coming from Mohenjo-daro. Clear? This alone cannot make it clear that priestly class maintains certain hierarchy in society. Clear? And more importantly, we can come to any definite conclusion only when we have pictographic script deciphered. Clear? So we are drawing inferences from Indus Valley civilization that this may have been possible. Clear? With one stone sculpture of one bearded priest, we cannot say priestly class maintained any hierarchy or any rituals were performed at that time. Clear? Rituals if performed, they could have been rituals or evidences of rituals. Still, we have not found any fire pit. We have not found any Havan Kund. It's belonging to Indus Valley civilization. Clear? That indicates society was largely non-religious in nature. Even religion that was there, it was purely materialistic, not spiritualism. Why materialistic? They demanded only fertile land. They demanded only livestock. They were not talking about spiritualism. When do you need priestly class? Largely for spiritual upliftment. Clear? But religion was purely materialistic in nature. Clear? Religion remained to be purely materialistic till 6th century BC. Clear? In 6th century BC, for the first time, religion acquired a spiritual character, and that acquired a spiritual character with compilation of very progressive class of literature known as Upanishads. Clear? We'll come to Upanishads separately. Clear? Because Upanishads are 180 in number, and Upanishads for the first time mentions about connection of Atma, that is soul, with Paramatma or the Brahm, and that marks the beginning of spiritualism in India. Clear? Till 6th century BC, religion is purely materialistic in nature. Mother goddesses for soil fertility. Clear? Male god for livestock. Clear? Even Aryans initially, they worshipped God only for material rewards. None of them worshipped God for spiritualism. Clear? Spiritualism starts only with compilation of Upanishads, and that too in 6th century BC, 108 Upanishads. We'll come to Upanishads separately. Clear? And that's why Upanishads are known as Vedant. That is, it marks the end of materialism of Vedic age, known as Vedkant. Clear? So Vedkant is Vedant. Vedant talks about end of materialism, beginning of spiritualism. Clear? Huh? Distinction of work. Not largely. Again, I'll let you know. Distinction of work if you look into Indus Valley civilization. Clear? Common people stayed in the lower town, common people practice agriculture. Men and women also, again I'll let you know, society was largely egalitarian, not largely distinguished. Even though we have one evidence of bronze dancing girl without clothes, that doesn't mean women were normally rather discriminated. Clear? Society was largely egalitarian. Why? I'll let you know. Clear? Even though everything depended on agriculture, no doubt about it. Clear? But still, apart from agriculture, trade and commerce was very flourishing in nature. Clear? Wherever there would be trade and commerce along with agriculture, clear, women will always enjoy better position. The reason is women could not contribute to agriculture, but women can contribute towards trade and commerce. Clear? And that is why we had been emphasizing Harappans were largely ruled by class of traders and merchants. These traders and merchants even included women also. Clear? Until the time women are economically empowered, clear, women will always enjoy better position in society. Just understand a concept here only in history. Clear? We'll be using this concept. Clear? The most important reason for subjugation of women in any society is their economic dependency on the male counterpart. Clear? Do remember, it's a theory altogether. Clear? Until the time economy is largely dependent on agriculture, women will never enjoy equal position. Clear? Because reason is agriculture even now is largely considered to be male dominated activity. Clear? And in agriculture societies, women are always considered to be liabilities. Clear? And that is why women never enjoys respectable position in any society dominated by agriculture. But where economy is largely contributed by women, like the tribal economy where forest resources are gathered, or like the trade and commerce, clear, women will always enjoy better position. In Indus Valley, clear, agriculture was the mainstay, but it was supplemented by trade and commerce, both internal and external trade. And in internal external trade, women contributed significantly. Clear? So gender discrimination would not be accepted for Indus Valley civilization at max. Clear? Gender discrimination could have been there only among the lower, or rather the lower town, where agriculture was predominant activity. Clear? Women were given equal position in the upper town or the citadel, where merchants and traders dominated. Women also acted as merchants and traders. To remember, that is why we'll come to see. Clear? Women enjoyed better position in Indus Valley. Women enjoyed better position in the early Vedic phase, whereby life was mobile and rather tribal in nature. As soon as Aryans began to practice agriculture, position of women deteriorated. That is why the early Vedic phase is known as golden age for women in India. Clear? We'll come to the position of women in early Vedic phase because society was tribal in nature. Even now in North India, dominated by agriculture, position of women remains to be subjugated. The example is Haryana and Punjab. But if you go to northeastern part of India, where economy is tribal, look into the literacy rate of women. They are very high. Clear? Even there is complete equality on gender lines. Clear? So one best part with tribal society is women enjoys respectable position. In agriculture society, women never enjoys respectable position. Women are always taken as liabilities. Female forticides, largely in Punjab and Haryana. Largely because agriculture is always a male dominated size, masculine activity. No, society was patriarchal. But patriarchal society doesn't mean women or position of women was not better. There are many instances in India where society has been patriarchal, but women enjoyed respectable position. In history only, I'll let you know. Clear? There was a dynasty or kingdom known as Satvahans. Clear? Society was patrilineal. Clear? But women enjoyed respectable position. Why? Clear? Rulers named themselves after their mothers. Gautami Putra Shatkarni. It means Putra of Gautami. Clear? Then we have Major Shatkarni first. Inscription was written by his wife, Queen Naganika, also known as Naneghat inscription. Clear? So society can be patrilineal, but within patrilineal society, women can enjoy respectable position. Clear? In India, society has not been largely matrilineal at any point of time. Clear? But there had been cases when society has been patrilineal, but within that, women has enjoyed respectable position. Always, clear? This is a trend to understand, clear? So wherever economy becomes agriculture, position of women automatically gets deteriorated. Clear? Please. Why not dress? See, again, I'll let you know, clear? See, again, what could be the logic, clear? Indus Valley civilization is an urban civilization, that is accepted. Urban civilization means people had abundant amount of resources, surplus wealth was there, surplus agriculture produce was taking place, even trade and commerce was very flourishing in nature. What exactly could have been the scene? That is argument given by scholars, clear? Normally, just because prosperity prevailed in Indus Valley civilization, urban culture prevailed, which is known as cosmopolitan culture, it is largely accepted that the bronze dancing girl was a kind of courtesan. Clear? Courtesan means dancer for amusements of prosperous community. Clear? And therefore, wherever there is a cosmopolitan culture, wherever there would be prosperity, clear, we always find evidence of courtesans. Clear? In Sangam age also, well, this is clear, there was a courtesan who was married to a very important person from Madurai. Clear? So with prosperity, see, everything has a logic. Clear? If people are struggling for their livelihood, clear, they will always be guided by their basic requirements. Clear? But when people have got abundant amount of resources, clear, they are relieved from the struggle of daily life. Clear? They go for higher amusements. Clear? And with prosperity, some negative features also come. One negative feature with prosperity and urbanization is people resort to amusements through witnessing the dancing girls, witnessing the dancing women. Clear? In fact, again, I'll let you know, the amount of ornamentation which is there with dancing girl, the big necklace and other thing, it clearly indicates she was basically a courtesan in the city. And we all know Mohenjo-daro was the capital city of Harappan civilization. Maximum prosperity was in Mohenjo-daro. Why we don't come across any other city? Clear? Mohenjo-daro. And that is why, clear, Mohenjo-daro was most prosperous, which is also indicated by the fact that the greatest building, largest building in Mohenjo-daro was a great granary. Clear? Great granary means basically that huge amount of surplus produce was generated in Mohenjo-daro. Clear? People followed several customs. There's a great bath also. Religious ablutions or bathing was also took place. Clear? So Mohenjo-daro had abundant amount of wealth. When wealth comes to the people, obviously sense of amusements also come, and in this sense of amusement, they start basically to have amusements through courtesans also. Largely scholars believe that this bronze dancing girl was a courtesan. Now, if she is a courtesan, we cannot come to gender discrimination also, because she cannot be reflective of the gender or rather common position of women in society. More importantly, if she was a courtesan, obviously she has to be well decorated, well beautified, and all beautifications therewith this girl. Okay? So all this indicate it was prosperity, amusements, and at the same time the girl can be identified as courtesan. But we cannot be conclusive. Why we cannot be conclusive? We have to wait for some time for the script of Indus Valley to be deciphered. These are all inferences drawn. Clear? Inferences are perhaps true, cannot be true also. Clear? But most scholars believe this was not a normal trend. If a person can have a beautiful shawl on his shoulder, clothes making was known. Why will women not wear the clothes? Clear? And more importantly, if you look into this region, clear, why shawl is there? You have to apply yourself in this valley. Clear? If you look into this region even now, it is marked by very chilled winter conditions. Clear? Now, in chilled winter conditions, people without clothes is not acceptable. It is an exception rather than a rule. Priest can have shawl on his shoulder. That indicate winter conditions. Clear? And a girl shown without clothes, that is an exception. No one can do that. Clear? What does it indicate? Amusement. And why not in other cities like Kalibangan or Lothal? Why only in Mohenjo-daro? Maximum prosperity was there in Mohenjo-daro. Are you getting my point? It needs to be inferred. Please. Purely. Again, I'll let you know. Okay? Fire altars does not indicate basically the religious ritual. Fire altars basically indicate that they wanted basically to worship fire, or rather they wanted to have use of fire. Clear? In when fire altars has been found in Kalibanga, other places, Rakigadi also. Clear? Fire altars may not be used for rituals. Fire altars were basically used for protecting the people against wild animals also, against other features also, because fire was used as defense mechanism. Clear? So large number of fire altars has been found at Kalibangan, fire altars has been found at other places. If fire altars could have been basically Agni Kund or Havan Kund, clear, it could have been largely found in Mohenjo-daro. Clear? Because Mohenjo-daro was the capital city of Harappans. Clear? So obviously we don't find any fire altars in Mohenjo-daro. So fire altars may have been used for defense mechanism, not for religious rituals. We don't have any evidence of religious rituals from Indus Valley. Clear? You need to understand each and everything. Clear? Okay. Okay. So you may not find everything in books and all, but obviously if you go to latest research and all, you will get to know. Clear? In fact, our Prime Minister also said about the girl, clear, that this nudity is not acceptable in Indus Valley. Clear? Because Indus Valley is a matter of pride for all of us. It's the only civilization of Indian culture. Clear? But this was basically not a general rule. It was an exception. It was an exception. Look into all the conditions that prevailed there. If certain amount of prosperity will come, along with that prosperity, people began to have huge resources at their command. Clear? Some amount of objectification of women can also not be ruled out. Clear? It's a reality, cannot be ruled out. Clear? It is basically, but again, even this objectification was done or not, clear, we cannot arrive at any conclusion. Clear? Because there's only one sculpture of bronze dancing girl. Clear? It is not a common trend. Objectification could have been there because agriculture was primarily dominating, and at the same time prosperity was there. So with prosperity, economic prosperity, not equally among men and women, it results into objectification. Clear? But if it is equal prosperity among men and women, objectification will never take place. Clear? So certain amount of objectification cannot be ruled out. Prosperity was high. Mohenjo-daro especially. Clear? Great granary, great bath, everything in Mohenjo-daro. Clear? Is it clear? Okay. Coming to this artifacts, major artifacts found in this region. So artifacts are very important to understand the history. We'll come to Indus Valley separately as well. Clear? Now, apart from artifacts in ancient India, which enables us to know much more about the past traditions of India, there are other archaeological evidences which tells much more objective history of ancient India, and the most important archaeological evidence has been the inscriptions found through archaeological excavations. Clear? Why inscriptions are very important? Clear? According to historians, inscriptions are the lifeblood of history. Clear? Why lifeblood? Because once written on solid surface like rock, clear, it could not be altered in course of time, and we get primary information, we get original information from those inscriptions which has been found through archaeological excavation, and these inscriptions therefore are regarded as lifeblood of history. The study of inscriptions is known as science of epigraphy. Clear? We'll come to another source, that is epigraphy or inscriptions right from ancient times. We'll discuss about the major inscriptions of ancient time. We'll discuss these inscriptions and their historical importance. In fact, clear, we know about the greatest ruler of ancient India, that is Ashok, largely from his inscriptions only. Clear? So inscriptions are the most vital source for reconstructing the past history of India. We'll come to second source, that is inscriptions after artifacts. Clear? Now just understand first. Clear? Inscriptions are of two forms found from ancient India. One are known as simple as inscriptions, another are known as edicts. Clear? In fact, edicts is a sub part of inscriptions only. Clear? Inscriptions could be written or inscribed by any person, clear, to convey certain messages to surrounding people. Clear? These inscriptions were largely written on rock surface, but later on some inscriptions were also written on copper plates as well. Large number of copper plates has been found because copper was mined in abundant amount from Western India. Clear? But most of the inscriptions are written on the rock surfaces, to some extent on iron pillars also, one located at Mehrauli in Delhi, and some on copper plates as well. Clear? These inscriptions are written by common people, are known as simply as inscription. But when these inscriptions were written by any ruling monarch to convey some royal orders or proclamation, such royal inscriptions are known as edicts. Clear? So there's a difference between inscriptions and edicts. Clear? Inscriptions can be inscribed by any person, including rulers also. Clear? But when inscriptions are inscribed by rulers to convey some royal message or royal orders, these inscriptions are known as edicts. Clear? And that is why Ashokan inscriptions also known as Ashokan edicts. Clear? We'll come to inscriptions, we'll come to edicts, clear, in ancient history. Clear? First of all, to understand, clear, the most important monarch of ancient India, that is Ashoka, clear, inscribed and erected large number of rock inscriptions throughout Mauryan Empire. Clear? All these rock inscriptions, for better understanding, has been divided into three categories. These categories are known as 14 major rock edicts, 14 minor rock edicts, and 7 pillar edicts. Clear? All these inscriptions mention about the policies of Ashoka. Clear? And all these inscriptions were written in Brahmi script and Prakrit language. Clear? Only some inscriptions of Ashoka were written in the northwestern part of India in Iranian script known as Kharoshti script and the language known as Aramaic, because he wanted his messages to be read by common people. He used common languages understood by the masses. So in northwestern side, people didn't understand Brahmi script. He went for Kharoshti script and Aramaic language. Otherwise, in Indian territory, he got all his inscriptions written in Brahmi and Prakrit language. Clear? Now, all these inscriptions initially could not be identified with Ashoka. The reason is, clear, all these major inscriptions use a title for Ashoka known as Dev Nam Piyadasi, which means dear to God or close to God. Clear? So title used for Ashoka was Dev Nam Piyadasi. Clear? But in course of time, these inscriptions, when excavated by British, there was an officer of British East India Company, James Princess. Clear? In the year 1837, James Princess recognized that the name Devanam Piyadasi is basically referred to Ashoka. Clear? Because in some inscriptions in South India like Maski, Nittur and Udgolam, Ashoka has mentioned his name directly as Ashoka. Otherwise, all the inscriptions mentioned about him as Devanam Piyadasi, which in Prakrit means dear to God. Clear? When this mystery was resolved by James Princep in the year 1837, clear, a new story unfolded related to Ashoka, and we came to know about this greatest monarch of ancient India. Clear? We'll come to all the messages taken from these inscriptions. They are the lifeblood of history. They enable us to reconstruct the history of Ashoka as well as his policies. Clear? After Ashokan inscriptions, we have inscriptions of other rulers also throughout the country, and we'll talk about all the major inscriptions and how they have been useful for reconstructing the past history of ancient India. Coming to inscriptions known as signs of epigraphy. Is this clear? Clear? No. Anything to be asked? Till the point we had done, all the artifacts, potteries, especially the metal artifacts, the stone artifacts, the Terra Cota artifacts of Indus Valley. Any question to be asked? Okay, we'll start with inscriptions. We'll start with signs of epigraphy tomorrow. Clear? Please. Only in ancient India. Clear? Because in medieval history, why don't we have? Just understand this notion also. Clear? Medieval Indian history is totally based on literary history. Clear? Because all the major writers began to write the history of respective monarchs. Clear? So medieval India, we don't have to refer to large number of archaeological evidences. In medieval India, we referred only to literary sources, starting from early medieval history. Kalhan wrote Rashtrangini. Rashtrangini is the first scientific historiography in India. Clear? We'll start with epigraphy, inscriptions